We'll just do that. It's on now. Yeah.
I would like to call the 2014 Kansas Library Association membership meeting to order. Welcome to each of you here. We have some guests with us that I would like to introduce. I saw them. Yeah. Oh, okay. We have some guests from Missouri, the Library Association, with us today. So when I call your name, would you stand up so we can acknowledge that you're here? Gerald Brooks, who is president of the Missouri Library Association. Christina Pruka is president-elect. And Dan Brower is the conference coordinator. One year ago, this month, I became president of the Kansas Library Association. So at this meeting, as we reflect back over the year, I'd like for you to know what the state of the association is. When I became president, someone asked me, what is your theme for the presidential year? And I'm going to pause right here. If you're in the back and you can't hear, it's your fault. There's chairs up front. After I thought about this for a while, I decided on Connect at KLA. My hopes were that everyone would learn a little more about KLA and become acquainted with each other as individuals, as officers and members. So to accomplish this, one of the goals was for council, and we held face-to-face meetings in 3 different locations during the year. Council meets 4 times during the year, of course, once here at the conference. It was great seeing everyone interact at the meetings. After the meetings, they stood around and visited and looked at someone else's library. The KLA newsletter featured short stories about your officers and other information. And lots of this information was also placed on the association webpage and Facebook page and other locations. So that you know who the officers and council members are who have been serving you at KLA, I'd like to make some introductions. So when I call your name or position, would you please stand and remain standing, and everyone please hold your applause until all have been introduced. First, the officers who make up the executive committee. Our first vice president, president-elect, is Terry Summey. Terry. Second vice president, Kelly Fan. Secretary, Kim Dial, and we don't know where Kim is, so if anybody finds her later, why? She's lost, but something must have come up or she would have been here. Treasurer, Gary Landag. Past president, Mickey Colwell. And then our executive secretary is Carrie Presley. And we're really pleased to have Carrie here because she takes care of the KLA office after joining us this summer when Lisa Phoebe left, and has helped us a lot here at the conference. We also have some appointed positions. Parliamentarian, Dan Ireton. Now Dan also serves in other positions, so it depends on what hat he's wearing at the moment. Governmental Affairs Committee, Carol Barta. Membership Committee, Kinsley Riggs. Publications, Newsletter Editor, Jeff Imperato. Archivist, Margaret Neck. Webmaster, Eric Gustafson. And then we have, we're not through, except we always want to applaud for Eric. We have some elected representatives. ALA counselor is Rob Banks, and I haven't seen Rob, I don't know if he's here. And KLA representative to MPLA, Dan Ireton. We have chairs of sections and roundtables, And I know some have changed, some haven't. So if you were a chair of a section or a round table, would you please stand?
Diana.
Some of those changed during the summer and some are changing here at the conference. Then we have affiliated organizations like the State Library, Kansas Library Trustee Association. No, that's a section, right? Okay, well, yeah, let me get to it. What group are you with, Dan? The other group you
KLA.
represent?
KLA.
Oh, the foundation, yeah. And some others. So these are the individuals who serve on the council, that serve you, and that serve KLA. So would you give them a round of applause? We had several accomplishments this year, and I have three I want to mention right now. One is we do have a new affiliate, the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services, or ABOS. I know they have a conference going on at the same time, but they were hoping to send someone here. So is there anyone from that organization here?
They have a table downstairs.
They have a table, okay. Like I said, their conference just happened to be at the same time this year. But we were pleased to have them join us. We have been working with the establishment of a new round table. This is a round table for those who work in church libraries. We've been working with them throughout the year, and at this time they have met all the requirements for round table status. So if there's anyone here that is involved in that, would you stand? If you know anyone, and I don't know if they had a sign-up sheet or not, but we've been working with them this year.
They've got a table out
They
in
have
that
a
main
table
hallway.
too? Okay, so. On another note, we sent Carol Barta to Legislative Day in Washington DC for the first time in several years. So thank you, Carol, for representing KLA at that.
Well, it wasn't just me.
You headed the group up. Who else went?
Kim Rutter, Carmen Orth-Alfie, Nancy McFarland, and Joe Budler and Cindy Roop.
Okay, so we had a nice representation, and Carol made arrangements for a lot of them. So the association is in good shape. We're growing and moving forward. So in just a few moments, we're going to hear some more specifics about the state of the association and what is happening, which will give you some more information there. So first, we need to actually move into our business meeting and have approval of our minutes from 2013. Those minutes were posted on the website. Hopefully you had a chance to go look at them or not, but I need a motion to approve those minutes as posted on the KLA website. And when you make a motion, would you please say your name so Carrie can get that down?
So moved, Jeff and Parado.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Diana Weaver.
Okay, any discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Okay, the motion carried. Next, we're going to move into a treasurer's report, so I'm going to ask Gary to come up and tell us if we have any money. That's the question I always ask, do we have any money?
And the good news is we have plenty of money. So we have, as of September 30th, we actually have a net loss, but that was expected because of conference. Right now, as of September 30th, which is 3 months into our fiscal year, we have a net loss of $2,627.71, and that is primarily because we've incurred a lot of expenses from the conference, but not all of our income yet. So that'll start to flush out here in October, and I think should be all settled by November 30th. But we do have plenty of money though, so our total net assets right now are $293.26, again, as of September 30th. We had, when we crafted the budget for this year, we expected about a $35,000 net income from the conference, and it sounds like we'll be a little bit ahead of that. I just spoke to Carrie, and we have about 70 more people than we had budgeted for. It sounds like 30, so a little bit more. So I think we'll be in good shape there. And even not counting that, I think my estimate, or what we had calculated on the budget for this next year, after payroll and some legislative activities, we should realize a net income of about $7,500 by the June 30 fiscal year end. So that's my report, and I would like to thank Carrie Presley, our executive secretary especially. I just get to do the fun stuff and come up and talk about it, but Carrie really does all the real work, and so thank you, Carrie, for doing that. She's, especially with this conference, we've been working out some kind of complicated accounting issues and with KASL, and that's going pretty well this year, so thank you for all your help. Does anyone have any questions about what I just said? Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go into some other reports now. First, the election of officers, and thank everyone who agreed to run for an office. Unfortunately, we can only elect one, or one case 3. But your names are in the pot, so don't be surprised if you get called in another year. For second, and you might stand, well, Kim's not here. You might stand in the we don't know where Kim's at. You might stand when I call your name so that everyone can see who you are. For second vice president, Kim Guile from Johnson County Library. Secretary, Julie Hildebrand from Independence Public Library.
She's here.
Good. ALA counselor, ALA counselor for KLA, Marie Pico from Topeka and Shawnee County Public Library. MPLA representative, Diana Weaver from Bayswater Library. And our nominating committee, Robin Hastings from Northeast Kansas Library System, Katie Hill from Coffeyville Public Library, and Greg Wamsley from Hutchinson Public Library. So if you see any of those that aren't here, or those who are, thank them for agreeing to run and congratulate them. And I'll thank Mickey and his committee for putting the nominations together and selecting individuals to run. Membership. Kinsley is our membership chair, and she's been very active this year, and so she's going to give us a little report.
I'm going to start off talking about our mentorship program that we started as a pilot this year. Terry Velasquez from the Johnson County Library came to me and said, do we have this? Why don't we have this? We should start. So I said, if you're willing to do some of the work, we can do that. So Jeff and Parado helped out, and we created the Mentor Pilot Project. And we had about 40 people respond saying they wanted to participate and be involved and ask for applications. In the end, we got approximately 18 or so back. And we really wanted to have 4 pairs of mentor-mentees for the program to see if it was successful, and we had 8. So we feel like that was a good start. I left my note cards with the quotes of how wonderful it was in the hotel room, but people really did appreciate it. Said it was a nice added service, that it gave something to the organization outside of the conference that people could participate in all year, and really had a good start to the program. So now we have to decide how we're going to carry that forward. Cole's is interested in doing the academic side. So if we could maybe get each section to work on, public libraries, children's or school libraries, and academic, maybe break it off and those 3 people work together to create a bigger, broader mentoring program across the state. So that is happening and it's pretty exciting because it's brand new for us. The membership numbers, however, are down. We have lost a total of 54 members this year, mainly in the trustee, student, friend, and retired categories. Carrie and Kathy and I were trying to figure out why those numbers were so large in the trustee group. But I was informed today that the Kansas State trustee program is not as vibrant as it once was, and so that could be leading to some of the decline in those numbers. Our individual numbers are up, so we have 676 members total. But I want to start kind of building a committee. So I'm looking for volunteers this coming year from each Kansas library system to help out so that they can have a stronger reach in their area. They know the people better, they have networking opportunities, and that way we can send a consistent message across the state and start recruiting some new members and getting them involved in our sections and countries. So unless there's questions, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinsey. Governmental Affairs, Carol.
I have a few more of these in case you didn't get one, but I'll pass back. So the highlights of last year's legislative session, basically working on the state library budget is always one of the things that we try to do. And over the years, we've tried to include the protection of state aid, which seems to be declining. So we worked on that a little bit. They did get a slight increase, $6.3 million, which is a slight increase from fiscal year 2014 to 15, which we're in right now. That was one of the things that we worked on. Another one, and how many of you have not yet voted? Okay. When you go into that voting booth on Tuesday, I would hope that you would all help out the KLA people from going to jail and vote in favor of the legalizing raffles in the state of Kansas.
It didn't say raffle anywhere on any of our stuff.
It does say raffle.
Does it say
on a sign, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It says raffle.
What, on the back? Oh,
On the
I wasn't
ballot.
in charge of the baskets.
So,
On the ballot, not
so
on the
we
basket.
need to, believe
Well,
it
maybe
or
on the
not,
sign.
For those of
Yeah.
you who are not native Kansans, the Kansas Constitution contains a section that makes raffles illegal in Kansas. So we need to change the Constitution, which is why we need to vote on it. Another thing that was worked on was the concealed carry law. As you may know, we didn't get anywhere with that, and KLA Council has kind of made a decision that we're not going to fight that battle anymore because it's kind of a done deal. There's not any way really to go about changing it. The other thing that I want to let everyone know, which is on the back side of that report, is that we're gearing up for the 2015 legislative session. This year, we are going to do a Kansas Legislative Day. We have not done that for a few years, mostly when the state library was trying to do their remodeling. But we are going to do that. It's going to be Thursday, January 15th at the State House. And this year, we're going to bring care packages from each library to the legislature. So some legislators are going to get one care package because they only have one library in their district, and some legislators are going to get a bunch of care packages because they have. We can't put anything of value in it. No mugs, no lanyards, no pens, no anything like that. But we can give them things to eat, snack foods. And we can give them, one of the things that I think we should include in there are sample packages, because we can't give them anything bigger than a sample package of Advil, Pepto-Bismol, and No-Dos, because when the school teachers went in, they found people sleeping last year. So we'll give them these care packages. KLA is going to provide the bags. We want the libraries to provide what goes in the bags, and also any information that you can encapsulate in a brief message of what your library is doing, so that they see that. Nothing long, they won't read it. Little short things. If you have Zinio, if you have Sunflower e-library, be sure to include something on there that tells them that they can use it and how to take advantage of it. But the idea is to make it all very short, and the idea of the care package is to tell them that we care what they're doing in the legislature. So that's it. And come to the pub crawl.
Carol, at one point we talked about if one of the legislators is in our library before this, can we take a picture of them in the library and include that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, if a legislator comes to your library, document it.
Big. He was here, she was here. Any questions for Carol? Okay. Terry, would you give us a report, please, of the 2014 conference?
I guess for me, the good news is that we're over halfway through with it. But I think it's been a good conference. We have a total of, and thanks Carrie for the numbers, 654 people registered at this time, which is a little above where we were last year. We also, out of that, 364 are KLA members. 160 were KSL, and we have 129 unaffiliated. So what happens is when we do the budgeting, we get the money for our members, they get the money for their members, and then we split the unaffiliated. Out of that, 404 of them were 3-day registrations, 169 of them were single-day registrations, and then we had 81 student, friends, and retireds. Our pre-conferences, once again, worked really well, and because we're the only ones that offer the pre-conferences, we get all of the income from that. And so we had 119 total individuals that attended the pre-conferences, which is a pretty good number. And then we sold 240 extra meals with the luncheons and the breakfast and everything. So we don't know final numbers yet. Once Carrie gets back to the office, she'll sit down with Barb Bain from KASL and they'll kind of work it out. But I think we probably did fairly well on this, and I think we've got a good group here. I'll be getting, and I'll announce this tomorrow in the keynote. We will have a link. There she is. We've had search parties for you.
I was upstairs working on my email, thinking it was 5:30.
There's a Saint Bernard dog running around here somewhere.
Exactly.
Looking for you, Kim.
Many apologies.
But yeah, I think overall it's been a good conference. I know the Hyatt has been really wonderful to work with. Knowing that we have signed a 3-year contract with them, so we will go to Missouri next year, and then we will come back here for the next 3 years after that. Which that final 3rd year, the 18 conference, will be a joint conference with MPLA, so that'll be a big one. So I think, yeah. But one of the things I'll announce tomorrow is I will have a link for the evaluation form, and we'll get that sent out also to everybody that attended the conference, so we can fill those out. And we'll give away some prize again to help incentivize people to fill that out.
Terry, do you want to mention who you worked with on the conference, your community?
So the conference committee, I can tell you, I could not have survived this without Carrie and Gary and Kelly, because they really helped. I would bounce ideas off of Kathy, and then Eric Gustafson in the back has been wonderful. If I needed anything, on the website, or he arranged for the wall of volunteers to help with registration that first day, which I know was a godsend. Yeah, I could not, I bounced ideas off of Mickey. So this is obviously not my conference, it's all of your conference, and I could not have done it without all of the help that I got in putting this together. But those are the main people that really worked hard. And then on the KASL side, it was Nancy McFarland and Barb Bain, and you see Barb at the registration desk. I know Nancy's been running around, so those are the people. And then George and Sheila Bloom. I can't forget George and Sheila, because honestly, anything with the exhibits, I just turn it over to them and let them handle it. And that was a real easy thing for me to do, to delegate on that, so that I really didn't have to worry too much about it. I knew that it would come off okay. So we do have, I thought we had a successful exhibitors bash last night. I hope people got into the exhibit hall. I hope the exhibitors were okay, so that we can, you know, keep having them come back. We tried to set up several of those. We gave away 9 prizes from the exhibitors bash last night. And so the list of that is down behind the registration desk, and we'll put it in the newsletter. We'll get that information there so we can kind of just let people know, and maybe put it out on the website too. Handouts, we said earlier, but we'll get all the handouts to Eric and try to get those up too if people are interested in what sessions, maybe they missed a session or something too. I can tell you, you know, putting a conference together takes a lot of, and I know people that have done this, it takes a lot of energy, it takes time to be able to go through, and the presentations, the sessions, you're the ones that make the conference. So the people that, you know, volunteer to do the presentations, we wouldn't have a conference without them. And so if you're thinking of something and you've got an idea, volunteer next year, because we're always looking for people that will do the presentations. And that's you know, having ideas. And it may be something that you don't think is very significant, but yet when you present it, other libraries haven't even thought of it, or aren't doing it, or were thinking about it and don't know how to start with. So it may seem like a little idea, but yet when you share it with others, it isn't. So. Thank you, Terry.
I think we should give them a round of applause. Next year will be the best conference you attend, because you don't have to worry about any of those things.
I don't know, I'm thinking the year after. Like, I mean, Mickey just kind of cruised through this one.
Kelly, you have an invitation for us.
And this is when my stress begins. Fortunately, it's not just my stress. So if you didn't catch that, it's a joint conference next year with Missouri. We will be in Kansas City. It's Missouri Library Association and the Kansas Library Association joint conference. We've not been together since 1961. So, you know, we're that close. We should do this a little more often. We're kind of excited. Our theme is Libraries Without Borders. Play off that little border war. There's more of us here. I felt very alone when I went to the Missouri Library Association conference. My co-chair is Dan Brower. He and I are putting this on together, and I'm kind of excited. We have a great group of people starting to formulate to put this conference together. If you have any interest in being part of this, please let me know. KFAN, F-A-N-N, like a ceiling fan with 2 N's, at lawrencepubliclibrary.org. We are always looking for volunteers to help plan this conference, and it's going to be big. It's a big deal. We're at the convention center at Bartle Hall. It's going to be a big thing. So the more people we can get to help us, the better off the conference will be. So please get in touch with me. I welcome your input. I welcome your volunteering. Dan Brower, if you want to contact Dan, you could also contact Dan. He's been really good about coordinating everything up together. We've got another meeting happening in November. So first meeting, this one's done, we're starting on the next one, so we're ready to go. So if you have any interest in being involved, please do so. September 30th through October 2nd. So I hope you'll all join us. It's going to be a good time.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other announcements or business that needs to come before the association? We're going to get a head start on that group. All right, then I declare this meeting adjourned to the reception next door for the awards. So you can go and you can start celebrating. Thank you.